In the days when the sun spoke to the earth and the trees whispered secrets to the wind, there lay a small village called Izenma, nestled between the rolling hills of the great Azura kingdom. It was a place of laughter, rich harvests, and songs that stretched into the night. But peace, like morning dew, can vanish when the sun of envy rises. For many seasons, the people of Izenma lived in fear. Looters, bandits, and greedy kings from the west, east, and south had joined hands to plunder their lands. The once rich soil grew tired, and the drums of the village beat not for joy, but for mourning. Yet, even in darkness, the gods sowed a seed of light. 6 moons before the birth of a child, the winds carried a message to the king of the southern kingdom of Nero. The oracle spoke with trembling lips. A child will be born under the crimson moon, a boy with the mark of the spirits. He shall rise to destroy the 4 kingdoms and restore the balance of Azura. The king's heart filled with fear and pride. No child shall rise against me, he thundered, slamming his staff upon the stone floor. He ordered his soldiers to slay all newborns born that month, sparing none. But fate, it is said, boasts to no man. In a quiet hut by the river Izan, a woman named Neka gave birth to a boy. His cry pierced the night like a spear through silence. The midwife gasped, for upon his wrist glowed a faint mark shaped like the rising sun. His father, Obidi, wrapped him in palm leaves and whispered, "He shall be called Okafor, the hand of destiny." 2 nights later, the soldiers came, torches burning, swords gleaming. But the gods had prepared a way. Guided by a mysterious old man cloaked in mist, Neka and Obidi fled through the forest. The old man led them across the river and vanished into the fog, leaving behind only a feather of a white dove. They settled far north, in a hidden village called Izenma, where no one knew of the child's mark or his fate. Okafor grew strong and wise. His eyes shone with the calm of deep waters, and his heart burned with the fire of justice. As he grew, strange things began to happen around him. When he touched sick animals, they healed. When he sang, the rain came to thirsty farms. And when he grew angry, thunder rolled across the skies. The elders whispered, "The spirits walk with this one." One evening, while returning from the stream, Okafor saw smoke rising from the hills. Bandits had come again. The men of Izenma fought bravely, but the enemies were too many. The people cried for help, and in that moment, Okafor felt a surge of power rise from within him. His eyes turned gold like the setting sun, and with a shout that shook the forest, a mighty wind burst from his palms, scattering the invaders like leaves in a storm. The villagers watched in awe. The prophecy had begun. That night, the village elder, Mama Ifioma, told Okafor the truth of his birth. "You are the child of the prophecy," she said. "Your power is not a gift, it is a calling. The 4 kingdoms must be restored, or Azura will fall to eternal war." With tears in his eyes, Okafor bowed. "Then I shall go, and I shall not return until peace reigns again." He journeyed first to the west, where the king of Zuron ruled in gold and greed. The king mocked him, calling him a child. But when Okafor raised his staff, the earth split open, swallowing the king's palace. The people hailed him and swore never again to raise arms against their neighbors. In the east, he faced the cunning Queen Amora, who wielded dark spirits. For 3 nights they battled in storms of wind and fire, until Okafor's light broke through her shadows. The queen, humbled, bowed and offered her crown to him. In the north, he found the people already weary of war, and there, Okafor taught them unity, to plant, not plunder, to trade, not take. Finally, he turned south, to Nero, the kingdom of his greatest enemy, the king who had sought his death. The old king, now weak and grey, trembled when Okafor entered his hall. You live," he stammered. Okafor's eyes softened. "I live not for vengeance, but for peace. The king fell to his knees. Then you are greater than I ever was. End me, and the prophecy will be fulfilled. Okafor shook his head. No, my king. The prophecy said I would destroy the 4 kingdoms, not by war, but by uniting them. He raised his hands, and a bright light filled the hall. The banners of war burned to ash, and the emblems of all 4 kingdoms merged into one, the emblem of Azura, symbol of unity. Years passed. The people of Azura knew no more hunger, no more war. Trade flourished, rivers ran pure again, and the drums of Azema beat once more for joy. Okafor became a legend, not for his strength, but for his mercy. And when he grew old, he walked into the forest and was never seen again. But every dawn, the villagers say, when the first sun ray touches the river, a white dove flies over Azema, and the people whisper, Okafor still watches over us. True power is not in the hand that destroys, but in the heart that forgives. Unity is the greatest weapon against fear and greed.